What's up, guys? Paulie Malignaggi here for Paulie TV. Frank Martin, Gervonta Davis going head-to-head, or should I say Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin going head-to-head. For me, this is one I'm really looking forward to. I know Gervonta sometimes has the up and down with a level of opposition. Listen, Ryan Garcia looks like a good win. I know, but that lightweight with the rehydration clause, you start to wonder. I really think this is the best opposition for Gervonta since Pitbull Cruz. You know, only this guy bringing a bit of a different dynamic, Frank Martin, than did Pitbull Cruz. Pitbull is a difficult opponent to deal with, but he's a pressure guy. He's a guy who can punch. He's a bit slow on his feet. Martin is a southpaw, has some height on him, can box a little bit, so it's a different box of chocolates you're getting with as far as an opponent is concerned, but still, for me, at a high level, if not just as high of a level. We're gonna find out about Frank Martin in the Gervonta Davis fight. You know, we always want the best fighters to fight the best. I think Gervonta's doing this with Frank Martin, and if he's able to dispose of Frank Martin easily, it's not one of those fights where you say, "Oh, Martin was unproven." Because listen, I think I can speak for most boxing people that say they've been impressed with Martin and have wanted him to get that step-up fight. He was almost going to fight Shakur Stevenson not long ago, but that fight fell through. Obviously, probably political hurdles probably ended up stopping that one from happening. But he's got a big fight with Gervonta Davis. At this point, Gervonta, you know, for me, it's always that Shakur Stevenson is probably the best lightweight in the world, but Gervonta Davis might be the most popular one. So at this point, you know, maybe it's a better situation for Martin. He has some advantages over Davis as far as, you know, he's a good boxer. I'm not saying Davis is not, but he's taller. He can possibly fight at range. We're going to find out about Martin as far as being in a big fight. Can he box the way he usually does in a big fight? He's got some decent wins, you know, over the Polish Prince, Ryan Kloczewski. He beat Jackson Martinez. And a couple of one or other two wins, but he's never really been at this level here. I mean, this is the level we all aspire to get to, world championship level. See how we really if we can really live up to the hype or not. Gervonta Davis, on the other hand, you know, he's a lightweight champion. He's been a big name for a while. Hasn't fought a reigning world champion since the Jose Pedraza fight. If you really think about it, you know, fought a lot of fights since then. And like I said, even some guys that were good fighters. I mean, Pitbull Cruz ended up becoming a world champion after Gervonta beat him. So it's a very it's a great win on his record. Actually, even Pedraza went up to lightweight and won a world title after Gervonta beat him. So he does have some stellar wins, but then there's some fights where you're just like, what the hell was he thinking? Like when he fought Alex Garcia at 135 pounds. You know, Garcia was a reigning 130-pound champion. Wasn't really impressed with that one, especially, not that the win isn't good, but to fight fighters on pay-per-view, you need to give the fans the pay-per-view level opposition. I think Frank Martin is that pay-per-view level opposition. And if Gervonta Davis is impressive in this fight, is he looking to the Lomachenko fight? Listen, I've been critical of Davis in the fact that he never really ever mentioned Lomachenko's name when Lomachenko was in his prime running through people, you know. Now that Lomachenko's a little bit older, everybody wants to stab at him, everybody wants to crack at him, you know. I think Shakur Stevenson was the only one that was calling for Lomachenko, even while Lomachenko was in his prime, and I rate that a lot. Davis was never mentioning Lomachenko when it was earlier in his career, earlier in Lomachenko's career when he's more in his prime. But now you got a Lomachenko who looked impressive against Kambosos, which to me isn't really all that, doesn't really matter all that much, as Kambosos hadn't looked good against anybody in a while. But also, it's a 36-year-old Lomachenko. So Davis all of a sudden was tweeting about Lomachenko's fight last time Lomachenko fought. Could this be a subtle preparation for Lomachenko as far as you getting in with a southpaw? That's Frank Martin, a good, slick southpaw like Frank Martin, and maybe it's going to be a gauge or a tape measure to see how he can match up against a good, slick southpaw. I do think Davis wins this fight, maybe by late stoppage. I don't know. You know, he didn't stop Pitbull, where I talked about that. That was probably the last of the tough, the most toughest fight he's had previous to this one. But I think Pitbull's chin is unbelievable, and he's a all-out pressure guy. Martin brings, again, a different dynamic to the table. He's a good boxer. You know, he's savvy in there. He's crafty. But I don't know if his chin holds up in this fight. And Davis eventually does find a way to get you. This is a crafty guy, so I think the fight goes a little longer. I think Davis gets him out of there between 9 and 12 if I'm gonna make my pick for this fight. You know what? Tell you what, for any of those guys that were going after my picks, only one I get wrong is Garcia against Haney. And honestly, with the failed drug test, that still hasn't really come to the end of the investigation. I'll be honest with you, it was probably not a fight I would have been wrong in predicting. So, hey guys, stop giving me a hard time, man. Come on, stop giving me a hard time. That's the only one I got wrong. I believe it's not really that difficult to get fights wrong and to get fights right in boxing. Most guys don't fight each other at the very, very top level. So hopefully we continue to see some of these fights happening at the top level. We've got the Saudis putting on a good show consistently, making good matchups. They got that show August 3rd. But for now, we've got Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin, and that's my pick on Paulie TV. I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV.